Vall, who's in the Iranian capital, Tehran. Remember the context. We opened the show with this. Donald Trump has threatened to strike at Iran again. And that threat was confirmed moments later by his U.S. Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, who said, quote, "We will strike them hard tonight, and hopefully they will make a good decision. If we need to negotiate with bombs, we're very good at doing that," end quote. Mohamed, you're in the Iranian capital. What are you hearing at this point?
Just a while ago, Sirik, there were reports on the local media about hearing air defenses being activated west of the capital, Tehran. We still don't have details about what's really happening there, but there is something, according to these reports. Apparently, there is an activity of air defenses in that area, and also explosions were heard from afar on the island of Kish. Again, no details yet about that, and also there were an activity also of air defenses in Mohr. So we have 3 locations across the Iranian map territory right now that have air defense activities and sounds of explosions, at least in one of those places, and that's on Kish Island. So all of these might be indications of the beginning of what the Americans have been threatening over the last few hours, but we can't confirm any of this or whether it is the real beginning of this American offensive that is being threatened by Donald Trump and his Secretary of Defense. We know that the Iranian leaders have been very active throughout the day, threatening that Iran has what it takes. It has the military capabilities to defend itself, and that this time around, if it is attacked, then the retaliation will reach far beyond the region. Iran is threatening to extend the damage and the scope of this war if it is attacked again. They have also been threatening over the last couple of days or few days that not only the Strait of Hormuz will be at the center of this war, but maybe also Bab al-Mandab, another choke point that will complete the siege or the blockade on any oil and gas that might be exported from the Gulf region, and that's going to double the extent and the intensity of the international energy crisis that has already been shown, or already been appearing because of what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz. So, I mean, it's everyone here is bracing for an active night, a night of war, perhaps. And the Iranians are waiting for this, as I say. They say they have what it means, and they are threatening that their armed forces are in full preparation and in full readiness to counter any challenge or any attack tonight.
So, Mohamed, I want to recap some of the things that you've told us, and I would point out that it is coming up on 1 a.m. Where you are in Iran. You're saying that 3 places in the country have seen their air defenses activated, and sounds of explosions have been heard in multiple locations in Iran. Now, we don't have yet more specifics that you can bring us, but we can, of course, say that this is consistent with what we've seen in previous U.S. attacks. This is typically what you first hear, that air defenses have been activated, and often moments later or hours later, you will start getting confirmation that there have been direct hits in Iran. But for the moment, we don't have that information. Also important in what you're reporting is that Iran has been very consistent about this. If they are attacked, they are going to respond. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that and any plans that they have telegraphed about their retaliation?
Well, the only plans they telegraphed are their readiness and the impossibility that Iran will absorb or be silent or sit still once it is attacked. And they are referring to the past couple of months when they have been consistent, as you said, in this regard. And they are also referring to what happened yesterday night when they were attacked by the Americans. They retaliated against several locations, several U.S. bases in the region, including in Jordan, Kuwait, and Bahrain. So they refer the public to what they have been doing, the pattern of behavior on the part of the Iranian armed forces, and saying that they're not yet about to capitulate. They're not yet about to absorb or take any kind of aggression without reaction. And they say that they have the means, what it takes. Their armed forces are ready. And they are also talking about, again, about lack of trust, about the American stance being something that they can't trust, because at the same time, when the Americans are talking about negotiations, Donald Trump talking about an imminent deal, at the same time, we see these actions and these attacks from the American side against Iran, and that for them is the proof that what the Americans say is contrary to what they intend to do and what is going. Remember also that tonight, what we have is no longer linked, according to the American rhetoric, no longer linked to the downing of that Apache helicopter. It is no longer linked strictly to a deadline about the peace talks and so on. This is a new wave the Americans are planning and threatening to wage of attacks against Iran without linking it to anything specific, just talking about Iran being reticent or being not ready to sign a deal anytime soon, wasting time and so on. The opportunity has been missed. So this is a new phase in the American treatment or American equation regarding Iran. There is no deadline. There is no direct attack, because yesterday they said they retaliated to the attack, the downing of the Apache helicopter. So we don't know exactly this new phase of war and this new equation that the Americans are trying to impose on Iran, whether it is going to be totally different, the extent of the action, the extent of the strikes, whether it is going to take just a few hours or maybe a few days. That's something that we will see over the next few hours and days.
Yeah, Mohamed, I think you're making a very important point that I will take over to our U.S. Chief Correspondent, Alan Fisher. Mohamed Vall, you're in Tehran. We'll come back to you in a little while.